स्टूडेंट, ये टॉपिक लास्ट लेक्चर से चल रहा है, यानी नेशनलाइजेशन ऑफ बैंक, बैंकों का राष्ट्रीयकरण। इसमें हमने इसकी ये मीनिंग, इसके ऑब्जेक्टिव और आज हैं इसके डिसएडवांटेजेस ऑफ नेशनलाइजेशन। डिसएडवांटेज देखिए, though the nationalization of commercial bank was undertaken with all objective in many sense, it failed in attaining them. In fact, is converted many of the banking institutions in the loss-making entities. The reasons were the obvious: lethargic working, lack of accountability, lack of profit motive, political interference, etc. Under this backdrop, it is necessary to have a critical look to the whole process of nationalization in the period after bank nationalization. इसके स्टूडेंट, नंबर 1 डिसएडवांटेज है इसका inadequate banking facilities. It means even though banks have spread across the country, still many parts of the country are unbanked, especially in the backward state such as Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, northeastern states of India. Number 2, limited resources mobilized and allocated. The resources mobilized after the nationalization is not sufficient if we consider the needs of Indian economy. Sometimes the deposits mobilized are enough, but the resource allocation is not as per the expansion. Number 3, lowered efficiency and profit. After nationalization, bank went in the government sector. Many times political forces pressurized them. Banking was not done on a professional and ethical ground. It resulted into lower efficiency and poor profitability of banks. Number 4, increased expenditure. Due to huge expansion in a branch network, large staff administrative expenditure, trade union struggle, etc., bank expenditure incurred to a dangerous level. Last, political and administrative influence. Many public sector banks badly suffered due to the political interference. It was seen in arranging loan meals. It's ultimately resulted in huge non-performing asset of these bank and efficiency. इसमें ये इसके डिसएडवांटेज थे। देखिए नेक्स्ट टॉपिक, application of the act. There are basically 3 kind of applications. Number 1, Private sector bank. Private sector bank mainly started their business as companies registered under the Companies Act. The whole of the Act, except Section 56, is applicable to banking companies in the private sector or non-nationalized bank. Number 2, public sector bank. Public sector banks include banks established under a special act passed by the Parliament, the State Bank of India and its subsidiaries, 19 nationalized bank, regional rural banks fall under this category. Number 3, cooperative banks. Cooperative banks are registered as societies under the Cooperative Societies Act 1912. Some point discuss noteworthy regarding application of the Act to cooperative banks, such as the Act applies to all cooperative banks whose paid up capital and reserves are of rupees 1 lakh. Second, the Act applies to all state and central cooperative banks irrespective of their paid up capital and reserves. The provisions of the Act are applicable to cooperative banks as modified by the section of 56 of the Act, which rewrites several sections of the Act for their exclusive application to cooperative banks. The Act does not apply to such as all primary agriculture credit societies, non-agriculture primary credit societies with paid up capital. स्टूडेंट देखिए, अब आते हैं इसके मेन प्रोविजन ऑफ द बैंकिंग रेगुलेशन एक्ट 1949. So number 1, definition of banking business. The Banking Regulation Act 1949 defines a banking company under Section 5, subsection C, clause A as a company which transacts the business of banking in India. The term banking has been defined as accepting for the purpose of lending or investment of deposits of money from the public, repayable on demand or otherwise, and withdrawable by the check, draft, and other or otherwise. Number 2, prohibition of trading. Section 8 of the Act prohibits a banking company from engaging in any trading business directly or indirectly. No banking company shall directly or indirectly deals in the buying or selling or bartering of goods except in connection with the realization of security given to or held by it, or engage in any trade or buy, sale or barter goods for otherwise than in connection with bills of exchange received for collections or negotiations or with such of its business. Number 3. Requirement as to minimum paid up capital and reserve. Section 11 of the Act lays down certain provisions relating to the minimum paid up capital and reserve of banking companies. It is done mainly to safeguard the interests of the depositors. The minimum paid up capital and reserve requirement vary with the place of business of the banking companies. According the banking companies incorporate outside India, those incorporated in India. Number 4. Licensing of banking companies. Section 22 of the Act requires every bank to obtain a license from the Reserve Bank of India for carrying on banking business in India. This provision is intended to discourage indiscriminate flotation of bank. Before Act requires every bank obtain a license from the Reserve Bank of India for carrying on banking business in India. This provision is intended to discourage discriminate flotation of bank. Before granting the license, RBI will indiscriminate flotation of banks. Before granting the license, RBI will inspect of the banks of accounts and they may require to be satisfied that the some points such as company is in a position to pay its present or future depositors full, the affairs of the company are not being connected in a manner detrimental to the interest of its present or future depositors. स्टूडेंट्स, आज हमने इसकी 4 पॉइंट डिस्कस किए. कल नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में इसके नंबर 5 पॉइंट से डिस्कस करेंगे, यानी ओपनिंग ऑफ न्यू ब्रांचेस से. थैंक यू स्टूडेंट.